But that's not there for me right now. That's how I see the situation. I don't think going into a rematch, he might win the rematch, but at the moment, optically, I don't see it.
All he wants is to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. He feels he can beat Dubois. We know that in some people's eyes, that's a risky fight to take. It is a risky fight to take.
Anthony Joshua is seeking a rematch against Daniel Dubois to avenge his titles after Dubois has given him a beating at Wembley Stadium. Daniel Dubois may have been handed the IBF World Heavyweight belt outside the ring after Oleksandr Usyk vacated it, but he is very much the deserved champion after a stunning knockout of Anthony Joshua. After being floored repeatedly, Joshua still had the temerity to say, "I live for moments like this," after surviving the 4th round. 2 minutes later, he was sprawled on the canvas. Daniel Dubois claimed the biggest scalp of his career with a stunning 5th-round knockout of Anthony Joshua in their all-British heavyweight title showdown. The 96,000 fans crammed into Wembley Stadium witnessed a classic as Dubois floored Joshua repeatedly, dynamite landing the decisive blow just moments after he had been caught by a peach from his compatriot. In his mid-30s and after such a surprisingly one-sided defeat, Joshua must now consider if he has the determination and sharpness to continue in a career where he has now been comprehensively outfought on 4 occasions. There is, though, a rematch clause that could yet be exercised. Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren, heaped praise on Daniel Dubois after continuing to defy the odds with a standout victory over Anthony Joshua at Wembley, and said he would negotiate a rematch in a heartbeat. The Queensberry Promotions founder believes that Dubois deserves much more respect for seeking out the toughest fights, going toe-to-toe with Oleksandr Usyk, Babe Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, and most recently, Anthony Joshua. He's had some bad things said about him by people in sport, which I found quite disgusting, Warren told TNT Sports in an exclusive interview. I found it quite a burden for him to prove where he was at, but he's been the most active heavyweight at that level. I'm talking about at the top level this year and probably for a long, long time. He continued, he's had 4 fights against 4 world-class champions in 12 months. Usyk, who's never lost a fight, he went in as the underdog. Babe Miller, who had never lost a fight, went in as an underdog against a fighter ranked in the top 10. Hrgovic, for the interim title, went in as an underdog against someone who had never lost a fight and an avoided fighter. And then he goes in with a national hero, Joshua, where he was the underdog. As for the future, Warren is more than open to the possibility of a rematch with Joshua and revealed that the IBF champion will head back into the ring next February. When quizzed about a rematch with Joshua, Warren replied, "I'm not against that at all. That's not an open door for me. I'll take the door off the hinges and we'll do it. That fight is there. If they want it, they've got it. Have it in a heartbeat. His next fight will be in February. That's when he'll fight next, and we will work out who that's going to be in the next week or 2 weeks." On the other hand, AJ's promoter Eddie Hearn expressed that AJ is focused on making a decisive move toward the World Heavyweight Championship. He believes that AJ is fully intent on fighting for the title, feeling confident that he can overcome DUIs despite the risks involved. Hearn noted that many view this as a challenging matchup, but AJ isn't interested in taking a comeback fight or facing opponents like Dillian Whyte or Deontay Wilder. Instead, he sees this as a direct opportunity for the championship, a chance that doesn't come around often. The situation remains to be seen as AJ weighs his options.
AJ will make the final decision. All he wants is to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. He feels he can beat Dubois. We know that in some people's eyes, that's a risky fight to take. It is a risky fight to take. But he's not really interested in having a comeback fight or fighting Dillian Whyte or Wilder or I don't know. He just thinks, I've got a straight shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. And those shots are hard to come by. So we shall see.
Dubois himself has now spoken to TalkSport's Jim White and discussed the possibility of a second fight. Asked if he wants to run it back with Joshua, Dubois said, "Yeah, if that happens down the line, then yes. If that happens next, then yeah. I want to go for it. I want to do even better next time. I know where I need to improve as well, so as a champion and a fighter, I want to prove people wrong every time, and that's what we have been doing. I think I can do a lot better than that. It was a great showing, but next time I believe I'll be more clinical, more sharp, everything." Zhang advises that Anthony Joshua avoid taking a career-ending rematch with IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois. The 2-time Olympian Zhang says it won't be a good thing for Joshua to tangle with Dubois a second time after being destroyed in 5 rounds last month in their fight on September 21st at Wembley Stadium in London. "If you're going to a rematch like that, I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's a career-ending rematch if he takes that route," said Zhang to Seconds Out. He added, "Also, I've heard people say that he has 1 loss and Deontay Wilder has 1 loss recently. So I think maybe that's a fight to put together to think about, but I really don't know. It's a question only he, Joshua, can answer based on his own experience. David Price stated that the rematch is a no-brainer for Joshua. He explained that it's a win-win situation. AJ can either win the fight and correct past mistakes or lose without facing major consequences. Price noted that even if Joshua loses, he remains a strong contender with options to fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury down the line. With various pathways still open to him, Price emphasized that pursuing the rematch is the logical choice for Joshua.
Yeah, definitely the rematch is the no-brainer, isn't it? Like what I was saying, and it's a win-win for Joshua because you can go in and win the fight and put the right, the wrong, or he can go in the fight and lose again. Nothing changes. He's still where he is. You know, Dubois is a wrecking machine. His confidence is sky high. He's red hot. He loses to him again. It's not the end. He can still fight Wilder. He can still fight Big Bang or, you know, Fury, even if Fury loses against Usyk. So, you know, there's still options out there for him. So it's a no-brainer. What else is he going to do?
Journalist Gareth Davies doesn't believe a rematch will happen between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois in light of the outcome of their clash last month. He feels that there's too much risk for Joshua being maimed and mauled by IBF heavyweight champion Dubois to face him a second time. "My gut feeling is it won't," said Gareth Davies to pro boxing fans about whether the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois rematch will happen. "In the end, my feeling is they'll say, let's just wait and see what happens with Fury and Usyk. If Fury loses Usyk the second time, maybe we put Joshua in with Fury now." He continued, "If Fury wins, I think Fury and Usyk will probably have a trilogy. That's the sense that I'm getting from people. My instinct is Joshua won't end up immediately rematching Daniel Dubois. But if he does, it'll probably be in February." George Warren mentioned that Daniel is currently away with his family, enjoying a well-deserved break after a strong performance. He emphasized that there's no rush to connect with Daniel until he returns to discuss his next fight. Warren noted that he has been in communication with Eddie and has spoken to His Excellency, indicating that they will gain more clarity on future plans once he arrives in Riyadh next week.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, Daniel's away. He's away with his family, enjoying a great win, a great performance, and he deserves to have his rest. We're not in any rush to catch up with him until he's back and talk about what that next fight looks like. You know, obviously, I'm talking to Eddie. I've spoken to His Excellency, and we'll get a bit more of a sense of the direction that we'll go in when I get to Riyadh next week.
Derek Chisora asserted that the rematch is the best move for Joshua, expressing confidence that he will win. He stressed that Joshua needs to change his approach, reviewing his past performance to identify mistakes and make the necessary fixes. Chisora concluded that it's a straightforward path forward for Joshua. He stated, "The best thing is the rematch. I believe Joshua wins in the rematch. He has to change his ways. He wins in the rematch. He'll go back and look at it and say, this is what I did wrong, this is what I'm gonna fix, and he'll fix it. That is it. It's just one of those things." Steve Bunce noted that AJ clearly believes there is a path to victory, despite the unfavorable optics of being dropped 4 times and knocked out in the 5th round. He acknowledged that this doesn't look good on paper, but emphasized that if AJ's corner and support team have faith in him, it could make a difference. Bunce suggested that a rematch might happen right away.
I think AJ clearly believes there's a path to victory. The optics don't look good on paper. You know, dropped 4 times and knocked out in the 5th of those and dominated comfortably. And so that doesn't look good. But AJ believes it, and if his corner and the people around him believe in him, then I think they'll get it. And will he have a rematch? I think he might. I think there might be a rematch.
Bob Arum shared his thoughts on a potential rematch between IBF champion Daniel Dubois and former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. Bob Arum stated that he admires Dubois, but has never considered Joshua a great fighter, especially after his loss to Andy Ruiz, which he found unsurprising. He called Joshua very, very vulnerable and warned against a rematch with Dubois. Arum noted Dubois' talent, claiming he knocked Usyk out and asserting it wasn't a low blow. He stated, "I've always admired Dubois, but that's not the case with Joshua. I've never considered him a great fighter, especially after his loss to Andy Ruiz. That didn't surprise me. In my opinion, Joshua is very, very vulnerable. The most senseless thing he could do would be to step into the ring with Dubois again." He continued, "Dubois has always had talent. I watched his fight against Usyk again on TV, and from what I saw, Dubois knocked Usyk out. I don't think it was a low blow." Devsani mentioned that Daniel is currently on holiday after a busy 13 13 months, which included fights against Usyk, Jarrell Miller, and Anthony Joshua. He emphasized that Daniel deserves some rest. Sani noted that a matchup with anyone in the top 10 would be significant, as Daniel is a name on everyone's lips. He added that if given the chance to face Joshua again, Daniel would welcome it, and he wouldn't shy away from a fight against the winner of Fury versus Usyk either.
I think the world's his oyster. I think he's on holiday at the moment. He's just had that. Do you know, he's had such a kind of year, such a 13 months actually. Usyk was back in August last year. Jarrell Miller, Hrgovic, Anthony Joshua. That's all happened in the space of 13 months. So I think he needs a bit of a rest. I think Daniel Dubois versus anyone right now, anyone in that top 10 is like a big sell. I think he's a name on everyone's lips. If it's Anthony Joshua again, I'm sure he won't shy away from that. Daniel Dubois, he'll be like, what? I get to do it again? Great. If it's the winner of Fury Usyk, I'm sure he wouldn't shy away from that either.
Conor McGregor has made a public plea for a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, following Joshua's shocking knockout loss to his fellow Briton. In a recent Kick live stream, McGregor noted that Joshua had some strong sequences, but was ultimately caught by a decisive shot. The UFC fighter even offered some advice to Joshua, suggesting that he focus on standing his ground and leveraging his strong jab in a potential rematch. McGregor's appeal was directed to Turki Al-Sheikh, the organizer of Riyadh season, urging him to arrange a second fight between the two heavyweights. Sometimes you get fed up, you might get a little bit tired at some, McGregor said. Joshua was almost at that stage. Make no mistake, the only thing that should happen next is Joshua and Dubois as a rematch, yeah, and stand the ground. He further added, don't even go forward, don't even go back, stand your ground and knee. Joshua has a good, strong jab. He almost came back, and he did hold him in that before he got caught with the shot. That's a fight between two very evenly matched fighters that have just put on a spectacle for us all. And from the 96,000 screaming fans, on behalf of Riyadh season and Turki Al-Sheikh, do that again. For real, do that again. Ricky Hatton stated that Daniel Dubois deserves a shot at a rematch with Usyk or Tyson Fury. He believes Fury has a good chance against Usyk by using his height and strength more effectively than in their last fight. Hatton emphasized that even if both Fury and Joshua lost their recent bouts, a matchup between AJ and Tyson would still be appealing. He noted that Joshua could pursue a rematch with Dubois, which could lead to a third fight, while expressing frustration at the lack of matchups like AJ versus Fury in boxing.
I think he deserves his shot, Daniel Dubois, and I think Daniel Dubois deserves a shot to have a rematch with Usyk or Tyson if he wins it. You know what I mean? If Usyk beats Tyson, which I think Tyson's going to pip it. I think he uses his height, his strength, his size and body weight a little bit better than he did last time, rather than having Alexander push him round the ring. I think he has a chance. I think Tyson does have a chance to win, but let's say if he didn't, you'd still watch AJ versus Tyson Fury, wouldn't you? Even if they both lost the last two fights. That's what we should be doing with boxing. Not having I know AJ's Eddie's mate, and he'll try and force a rematch clause, and then AJ could beat Daniel, which he's very, very capable for. Then we have a third fight, and then we're not seeing AJ versus Tyson.
So what do you think about this? Do you think there will be a rematch between the giants? Will there be another opportunity for Anthony Joshua? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.